Hello everyone, Link here, back with another replay of Company of Heroes 2. I know, kind of surprising. I think for now, pretty much all my wins I'm going to record, simply so that I have a recording for them in the future, so I can look back at them, but also because it got a few views, and, you know, who knows. I mean, I really like the game. I'm not that great at it by any means. In fact, one of the big reasons that I'm recording my wins is because it's kind of rare. We're playing on Fayetteville Approach. I think this is the same map I got the win on last time. I'm not certain. But this is arguably the best map in Company of Heroes 2 for 1v1s, at least. I'm definitely partially considering that. I'm still kind of debating. I think this is definitely one of the ones in contention. But I also haven't played all of them. In fact, I've only played like half of them, which is kind of bumming me. I've even been playing versus computers just so that have played at least one game on each map, so I know them. So you don't have to play on a new map the first time online, which is a nightmare, being a StarCraft 2 player, believe me. Especially if it's like Golden Wall or something. You do not want to just jump into a ranked game on Golden Wall, believe me. But I went for an instant machine gun, and I don't remember exactly why, but I think the... Wait, let me see here. Yeah, so anti-tank guns, and then heavy machine guns, as well as rifleman buffs. So a lot of buffs versus infantry, pretty much. And then a little bit for tanks later on. So I was thinking, okay, let me get machine guns early. Because usually what I like to do is get either an immediate machine gun or like an immediate pioneers. The immediate pioneers are worse overall combat-wise, but they have extra line of sight for snipers if you end up going for that a little later. And you can capture territory early on quicker, which is important. Because one of the things that's kind of tricky about this game is you can't really sort of spread out too much, even in the early game. Because if you spread out, you're going to end up having one guy run into two guys, which you're about to see right here. And as a result, you just have to retreat and give up a bunch of territory that you were trying to take. So what I decided to do is focus on the middle, get a grenadier and a machine gun, and then have one pioneer on the right capturing these territories. And at least for the start of the game, ignore the left side until I kind of know vaguely where my enemy is. But then I see him capturing this spot. I see I have a pioneer squad here, so I'm going to sandwich him from two sides and force him to retreat right after I got the gas. He had a rifleman coming up, but he didn't turn them over here, so he wasn't able to really help out. And then they have a rare echelon troop over here versus my grenadiers. He retreats kind of early, but I don't blame him too much there. Rare echelons. I didn't know this initially because of the weird name, but they're basically the American version of engineers. He retreated very late there on that guy. And that's one of the things you'll see throughout this game is my opponent just losing a lot more manpower than he necessarily should lose, I would say. And you know what? Because I'm spectating this, I'm going to put the mic close to my mouth. Yeah, this is the American base. The way the bases are laid out is kind of interesting. The American and the U.S. have bases that are, like, bases here, and then there's, like, these areas here that you have to sort of gain access to. And I think I like the UK more in that regard because they blow up the tents midway to symbolize, like, which ones are on and which ones are off. And then the Soviets and the Germans just build things, or the Soviets and the Wehrmacht. The OKW, on the other hand, will bring in half-tracks to build these. Another thing I didn't realize about, because I don't play this game much, is that Americans get mortars before machine guns, which is very interesting, because usually machine guns you get earlier. And right as I say that, they got this outpost, which shows this being put up, which is kind of interesting. So with the Americans, every time that you get a new spot, you get a new unit, so you have to get a lieutenant to unlock all this. Then the next thing is unlocking this. Which, the Housers, these types of things here are the most annoying things in the game for me. Because they're the things with the longest range, and they have a bunch of inevitability. Meaning that if you don't deal with them, at some point, you're simply going to lose. And you can literally have them in, like, way in the back of your base and attack, like, here. It's absurd. It has, like, absurd range, and you can put it in an area that basically can't get attacked. because bases in this game are built so like you can't like end the game immediately by just full rushing. So now I've taken the left side and even taken deep into their territory, and they're starting to take the right side. Me, on the other hand, I've had a decent gas lead for most of the game, and as a result, I'm going to get a half track decently quickly. This guy's lieutenant here, and he's got a mortar team attacking. But I only see a lieutenant here, so I'm like, you know what? Let me just attack in and force the mortars back if need be. And then I've got grenadiers and because I have grenadiers and engineers taking out a rifleman, I don't need the half-track's help, so I can send the half-track to deal with this rifleman here. And he actually retreated these guys very late, and funnily enough, he actually was looking at them and just not retreating them for no reason whatsoever, really. Put some machine guns here to force my guys put back. But that gave me some information that he had a machine gun, which is nice. Because I pushed him back, very back. I mean, it's very hard to take this point, and this point, because they're all right next to the base. Especially this one, I would say. This one you can't see, but once it's being captured, you can see it. And it's so easy to take. I would say this one and this one are probably the hardest to take. This one's the closest to their base, but this one is like, you can put machine guns right here and take them out. I got some more machine guns at some point. I thought I heard it right then, but I wanted to put them here so I could sort of lock down this side of the map and this side rather than just the middle, because you can't even really lock down the middle with machine guns. As you can see, you can attack from here. If this was over here, then you can attack from here. Yeah, Moore's trying to threaten me, but Moore's alone won't do it. Machine guns here, but can't just walk into machine guns, even if it is with machine guns. He's taking this area over here, but I don't really care, really, because it's so deep in their territory. The reason to take this territory isn't really to get the resources of it, it's to prevent them from getting the resources of it when you're getting territory that deep, because that's territory that's kind of like already theirs because of how deep it is in their territory. So if you can take it, just force them to take it back. It kind of just forces them to stay in their area and not move out. And not only that, but you know if they're taking it, so you know if they're going to be over there. And I even sent some grenadiers over. And I see a Stewart, which kind of bummed me out because I had the gas lead for a good chunk. So I'm not really sure how he got it, but he did take this for me kind of earlier than I thought I did, or than I thought he did. And something I want to point out is that the commander that I went for this game, I actually completely forgot I went for this commander, and actually I didn't use a single thing about it. Because generally speaking, the reason you go for this commander is because of the Puma. Because the Puma armored car is basically a mixture between like an armored car and like a tank. So it's sort of a mixture between like a medium tank and a light tank. So it will pretty badly lose to like a T-34, for example. But it can take out like Stuarts and T-70s pretty easily. And you get Pumas later than light tanks, but you get them earlier than like a Panzer. So that's specifically why you go for this, is to get that Puma out. And I actually completely forgot that I went for that doctrine. I even had that as an option, because if I did, I would have gone for it. Because that was like the one hard thing about this game. I was in control for this entire game, other than for this one point in time, where he has a Stuart, I have a half track, and I don't have any way to deal with tanks other than Fausting them and using up ammunition, which is not good. It's not sustainable whatsoever. But much like the few games I have won, taking the VPs early is really, really big. Because even though he has one here, I've triple capped him long enough. I'm still at 500. He's not gotten 2 capture points this entire game. So I'm still at 500, and he's at 150 down. So 350. That's pretty bad. And I know he's likely going to be repairing this. He can bring out his crew to do it, which is something that's I find very nice, but I personally wouldn't like using. Because I'm the type of person that would forget that's there, or like move the crew away, like hectically, so... or not know, like, not practice enough, so not know how to, like, get back in. Like, how do I get back in the vehicle? But this half track, considering that he went for Stuart, and the Stuart's primary job is to kill the half track and then take out infantry, I actually did very, very good with the half track. Something that I would say causes me to lose a lot of games often is because I lose vehicles very quickly to Faust, to infantry, and also just to my opponents taking gas early and getting tanks early. So my half tracks and scout cars are just don't do anything. But I kept this half track alive for ages, even in the presence of the Stuart, which is very nice. This mortar, for example, I see he's over here. So I send my half track over here to the mortar, who's retreating. And there's actually a little bit of a glitch that happened here. I flame him out. And the mortar's dead. Now what's weird is that the mortar still shows up here, but he's retreating, and once he goes all the way out, then it goes away, which is kind of weird. So you can see mortar's still up there, but then when they leave, they're out. But as you can see, I have almost all the territory in this game. And I think that it's not, one of the things about this game wasn't just that I was taking much better fights, I was trading a lot better than he was, largely due to grenades. But another thing was that I think I was just better at multitasking. I was better at sort of clicking around the map. As you can see, as all of his guys outside his base here, all attacking in one spot. Where I'm capturing here with a machine gun that was originally in here. I took them out of here, then put them here, then set them up here in case they came to attack here. Had this machine gun kept here, and then I even had this grenadier take this, even though I'm cut off here. Because again, I'm not taking this to get the resources, I'm taking this to prevent them from getting the resources. If you can keep them on like 2 or 3 of these, they get so little gas they can never get vehicles out, which is the key thing. If they can get a more powerful vehicle than you, or they can get a vehicle earlier than you, that can easily change the game. Now here, my engineers just planted a teller mine down here, so I rushed in with the half track, and then backed up into my mines, hoping that the Stuart would follow me. And in the meantime, that house got destroyed. He went for some rangers here. And yeah, an interesting thing is that he never actually attacked the machine gun here with the Stuart until it was too late. He walked like into this area multiple times, not realizing that I had a machine gun there when I've had it there for like a long time. Like he walked into like 3 times, which is really weird. So I went for a grenade here and a Faust onto him, which damaged his engine, preventing his movement. Or not preventing it, but like slowing it down massively, which was pretty huge. And most importantly, probably, is getting veterancy 2 on both those grenadiers, which honestly, the veterancy this game, I did better than pretty much ever. For those of you who don't know what veterancy is, it's basically this game's version of XP, and you can only get it by keeping your men alive. And that's actually something that's pretty hard to do in this game. You have to not only keep them alive, but keep them on the field fighting for a while. So I'm actually going for a Panzer IV here, when I could have actually gotten a Puma quite a lot earlier. I mean, it's the 13-minute mark. I probably could have gotten a Puma at like the 10-minute mark. And spoiler alert, he actually concedes the second he loses his Sherman to my Panzer IV. So I actually could have ended this game with a Puma probably earlier. Because yeah, I'm still at 500. I've got a triple cap on him, or about to have a triple cap on him. And he's down to less than 200, and he's not gotten a single point off me. And I've got resources everywhere. So the only thing he really has going for him is the Sherman. Oh, okay. Okay, so fun little fact. When I've been very annoyed when I watch the Company of Heroes online on YouTube, because when I watch them online, the vehicles will randomly pop on and off. And I think I just found out the reason is because the crew's popping out to do crew repairs, and then it comes back. I never knew that about the HUD. But yeah, another thing is that he kept his guys here. I think what the problem was that he had was probably that he kept his ambulance here, so he couldn't actually properly select these guys without also selecting the ambulance. So you should have put it like here and then continue clicking these guys. Because like I said, it wasn't that good at multitasking. So he's got his only veteran C2 unit here, Rifleman. And I really, really want to kill it. If I can kill veteran C2 with 2 veteran C2 Grenadiers, I'm going to take a big infantry lead. And I know I have a secret vehicle lead as well. Now, I wasn't quite able to kill him, but I do spot where his Steward is for the first time since I've had the Panzer IV. So I rush for it. I'm a little worried because I know he has this positioned here, but he doesn't have the vision. And this was the nail in the coffin here. He finally decides to go for the machine gun. He's like, this is a good idea, I should do this. But Panzer is on his tail, and he wasn't even looking at that moment. So Panzer comes from behind and just absolutely destroys the Steward. And he knew, just as I knew, that this was the nail in the coffin. Panzer IV versus no vehicles, 500 VPs to 100, about 80% of the map. He's got a bunch of guys coming over to try and do something. I'm not sure if he has any real anti-tank other than maybe this guy. And I've got 2 guys attacking on this side. I think here I actually got a full shot off on this Ranger. Yeah, that right there. After seeing that, he's like, yep, can't do it, can't do it. Kind of an early concede. He had more than 100, but I mean, it's not. You can't really blame him too much. He was doing well near the end there to come back. It's just that he dived too deep, and it's not that he was far from his side of the map, but the thing is that this side is probably closer to his base than this side is, and that's something I think this game does kind of interesting as well. Is that the middle usually is kind of farther than the sides are, but in this game the center is actually the closest, whereas the sides you have to curve around. So by going to one of these, he really couldn't retreat, where he could have maybe retreated from here just barely back to his base, but he couldn't have retreated from here, no way. And that was a game won very handily. And as I mentioned, I didn't even use mobile defense doctrine whatsoever. I didn't use counterattack tactics, and I completely forgot about the Puma. If I went with the Puma, probably the same thing would have happened, except I would have I probably would have won the game like 4 minutes earlier, because I could have gotten the Puma a lot earlier. So yeah, that game was a lot better than honestly any of my games. Like the last game I uploaded, I won simply because of my early VP lead, which I had here as well. But I would say that for the most of the game, I was actually losing it. At least in terms of trading. I had it was kind of like economy in StarCraft 2, where you just had so much of the map that even if you trade poorly, you'll still win. That's kind of how that last game was. This game, I had full control of most of the map. In fact, I think this guy had more points than the guy in my previous game on average. But I was trading not only better than he was, but I was trading amazing. I had 3 or 4 grenade shots. I think there's only 1 or 2 I actually saw on this replay, or in this episode that I was able to find. But yeah, a lot of hits. The half track, even when the Steward was still around, I was still able to get a lot of use out of the half track, killing the mortar, dealing a lot to 2 riflemen, nearly knocking a veteran 2-1 out. And then even the last bit, when I lost the half track, that was actually good for me, because losing the half track revealed to me where the Steward was. I pounced on it with my Panzer IV, and that was the killing blow right there to win me the game. So, hope you all enjoyed. Tell me, I'll look on the video and see if this mic was too close to my mouth or not. Because I'm not really playing anything, I'm just moving my hands around. I'm kind of just commentating, really, on this replay, so I can move this mic closer to me. So, hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. I apologize for not uploading as much as I could. I've been very busy.